So the finale of The Boys Season 4 happened. It came out and it was an insane finale, and the ending was crazy, and a lot of other moments in this episode were insane. So in today's video, I'm just going to be explaining the ending, what this could mean for Season 5, and just where are our characters going to end up in Season 5, and what could the premise of Season 5 be. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I would like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, like how I mentioned before, The Boys Season 4 finale was insane. A lot of twists and turns happened in this episode, and the showrunner was not wrong when he did say that this is the beginning of the end. And I know that a lot of people were pretty disappointed by this finale, and that's because in every season we do see some sort of conclusion to a specific storyline, and we see Butcher and Homelander face to face, but not in this season. And now I want to first get into Ryan. And now, like, in this episode, we see that Butcher is about to die of his cancer, and we see Mallory come into his room and they call in Ryan, right? You know, Ryan, after confronting Homelander, after Homelander sees the picture of Becca and Butcher in Ryan's bag, he gets mad, he starts lasering down the place, and then Ryan goes to Butcher. Now, when Ryan goes to Butcher, Mallory does reveal to Ryan that all the bad things that Homelander has done, like for example the Flight 37 video and everything about Becca, and just the type of person that Homelander is, Mallory exposes everything, and this kind of catches Ryan off guard. And I'm actually pretty surprised that Ryan didn't know this from before, because Homelander's pretty obvious when it comes to him being the way that he is. And so when Ryan does find out about everything, he gets overwhelmed, and I thought that Ryan was going to join Butcher and the boys here, but that was not the case. And, like, you know, I like how they basically just did the unspeakable, and they kind of made Ryan like Homelander. I know, and throughout the season, Joe Kessler has been telling Butcher to either kill Ryan or to take control of Ryan, so then he could go after Homelander. And it looks like that Joe Kessler was right, and as we all know, Joe Kessler is basically the other side of Butcher that wants to kill every single soup, and is basically just Season 1 Butcher, and it's like the demon that's on his shoulder, right? Whereas Becca throughout the season was telling Butcher to save Ryan, to protect Ryan, Joe Kessler was telling Butcher to kill Ryan or take control of Ryan, and in this case Joe Kessler was right. That side of Butcher was right, his thinking. And so when Ryan does find out everything, we see in his expression that he does not want to go against his dad, and it's basically a full rerun of Homelander's childhood, where he was trained up, he was put into a lab, and, you know, like, he was basically not a human boy, right? He didn't live a normal life, and Vought wanted to use him for their own personal benefit. And we're seeing the same thing here with the CIA and Mallory. They want to take in Ryan. They want to stuff him in some sort of hole right into a room to train him, to hold him just in case if he wants to escape. And they want him to kill Homelander. And they're basically having another Homelander, even though their intentions are good. They are recreating the next Homelander through Ryan. And now when Ryan does find out about all of this, Ryan ends up killing Mallory, right? He pushes her into a wall and she cracks her neck, right? She snaps her neck and she is dead. That's where Butcher does see that, you know, the Joe Kessler side of him was right, and he has to kill Ryan, and he has to kill every other soup. Because after seeing this, after witnessing this, and, you know, you could see in Ryan's face that he has no remorse whatsoever for killing Mallory, right? I mean, Mallory did have a hand in raising Ryan as well, right? For like a good year or a year and a half, you know, Ryan was with Mallory. So him killing her so mercilessly and not showing any sort of remorse, that shows that Ryan is becoming the next Homelander. And now, like, another thing I want to touch upon in this episode is the whole Victoria Newman and Dakota Bob thing, right? You know, like the Bob Singer thing. And now, like, throughout the season, we've been seeing that Homelander and Victoria Newman have been working together, and they want Newman to become vice president so then she could assassinate Bob Singer and basically become president herself. That was the whole goal of Homelander, Sage, and Newman throughout the whole season. And now in this episode, we do see that Newman is taking a full turn, right? You know, she does not want to do this anymore, and she gets exposed as a soup by Homelander on national television. And now after seeing this, there are riots and stuff that are breaking out throughout the country that they've been lied to. And also Bob Singer does make a statement that, you know, basically saying that he didn't know about it. I mean, he did know about it. That's why he wanted Newman to be killed by the boys. So then, you know, there's no soup in the White House. And, you know, like when Victoria Newman was exposed, she basically backs out of the whole thing, right? And Homelander does threaten Victoria Newman that, you know, I'm going to make Zoe hurt, right? And I'm going to kill you. I'm going to send a piece of you to her every year just to make your death slow and painful and just to make her hurt more slowly. That's where Victoria goes to the boys, and she contacts Huey and she tells him that, you know, like, I can't do this anymore, and I will work with you to take down Homelander and to basically, like, you know, be of benefit to you, because we've been seeing throughout the season that Victoria is kind of hesitant when it comes to this sort of thing, and we did see her hesitation fully when she heard about the internment camps that Homelander and Sage were cooking up with Tech Knight. She did not know about that whatsoever, and when she did find out about it, she was a bit hesitant of working with Homelander, and now she was fully off board with this whole plan when she was exposed as a soup. And then when Victoria does come to the boys' hideout, this is probably the second best part of this episode, right? The second best moment of this episode. And that's when Butcher comes to the hideout, and this is while Victoria and Zoe are there, and they're making a deal with the boys and Huey that, you know, we'll work with you and we'll tell you everything about Homelander and we'll just expose him for everything he is and bring him down. That's where Butcher does reveal that the virus that was in him, the parasite that was in him, is his power, right? And he did say that he did take Compound V before, but it didn't do anything. But, you know, a very specific line he did say in season 4 is that when he took the Compound V, that's when he got the news about the cancer. And now this could go either way. Maybe the cancer is his superpower, right? I mean, we did see that in this episode, that this tentacled monster, this parasite that he got from taking Temp V is his power now. And this reminds me so much of the symbiote, right? Like, basically Butcher is Venom now, right? He has the Venom symbiote in him, and we're just seeing how strong this is because before we saw that Homelander lasered Victoria, right? And of course it wasn't a strong laser, it was a very low powered laser, but again, it was one of Homelander's lasers, and she did not phase from that, right? That nothing happened to her face when she got lasered in the face. And on top of that, in episode 1 of season 4, Butcher does shoot Victoria point blank in the temple, and nothing happens to her there as well. And in this moment, we see that Butcher uses the parasite to basically get a hold of Victoria and rip her in half, killing her. That happened so all of a sudden, I jumped out of my seat there, and it was a full left turn because I had a feeling that Victoria was gonna die this season, but it happening all of a sudden when she eventually turned good and she was ready to work with the boys, that's where Butcher comes and he basically says, I don't care anymore about deals. I'm going to be going myself, and I'm not going to go through this whole legal thing of taking down Vought. I'm going to take down Homelander myself. That is the step he took here by ripping Victoria in half and killing her, which was the whole aim of season 4. That's the reason why they were cooking up the virus, was to kill Victoria Newman. But now Butcher did it himself, and he got the virus from Frenchie, right? Frenchie has been working throughout this whole episode to create a strong enough virus, and Butcher finally got a hold of it. And now I want to talk about this parasite right here, because when Joe Kessler was revealed to be a hallucination to Butcher, he did say that I am you, right? I am inside of you. And this is pretty obvious, but for those who don't know, Joe Kessler is the parasite, right? That is basically the parasite talking to Butcher the whole time. And now, like, when Butcher did walk into the hideout looking all fresh and young, right? He did de-age like a good 5-10 years. When he did walk in, that was him basically being cured of cancer. And in Marvel Comics, the symbiote does the same thing to Eddie Brock, right? When the symbiote does bond with Eddie Brock, he gets cured of his cancer. And now, like, in this situation right here, Butcher bonded with the parasite, aka Joe Kessler, or the V'd-up virus, and he embraced that side of him, right? Because we're seeing Joe Kessler, but we're not seeing Becca anymore. So he basically booted Becca out of his head, and he gave Joe Kessler control. And now, like, I want to talk about how overpowered this is, right? And like how I said before, that Victoria Newman, we did not see her get injured whatsoever throughout like all of the boys since season 2, and now Butcher just rips her in half out of nowhere. And now I would put this version of Butcher, I would probably put him below Soldier Boy and Homelander, but stronger than Ryan. And of course, because Ryan's powers did not develop fully yet, and he doesn't even know how to use them all that well, so he could take out Ryan fairly easily. And now, when Butcher kills Victoria Newman, we do see in the news where Homelander is crying, right? He says that, my plan is gone, right? It's failed because Victoria Newman is killed. That's where Sage comes in, and she says that this was all part of the plan, but it had some ups and downs. And that's where she has Calhoun on the line, and we did see him in Tech Knight's mansion talking to Homelander, and he assumes president. He is the president of the United States now, and he's willing to work with Homelander. And no one is standing in their way now, because Bob Singer is arrested, and there was a video that was leaked from the bunker in this episode where Bob did say that, if you assassinated Victoria, we would have not been in this mess. That was leaked, and it was sent to the press, where it gave Calhoun and Homelander full passage to take over the United States. So now Calhoun is president of the United States, and Homelander is with him, and Calhoun is just a figurehead, right? He is not really the president per se. It's really Homelander, right? Realistically, it's Homelander, because now they gave Soups authority over police and everything like that, and they're going to be reporting directly back to Homelander. And this has been their mission since season 1, since Madeline Stillwell was in the show. She wanted this to happen. She wanted Soups to have control over the police force, the military, and now they finally got it. And Homelander, technically, now he's president of the United States. And with this, we see Frenchie, Kimiko, MM, and Huey, and Starlight being taken in custody, except for Starlight, of course. And so we see that Sam and Kate, they take Frenchie and Kimiko. And specifically with Frenchie, Kate does mind control him, and she takes him into a truck. And I think that that's going to be a big story point in season 5 of The Boys. And I think mostly in that season, in the final season of The Boys, I think Frenchie is going to be mind controlled by Kate, and he would be forced to cook up some stuff and just do what he does best, but mind controlled and for Homelander. And also in the scene, we do see that Kimiko finally does speak, right? She says no, right? She's screaming no over and over and over again. So in season 5, we could see Kimiko talking fully. And with MM, he's taken in custody by Love Sausage, right? And he is about to fly out, right? All of them have their passports, and they're about to leave the country, whereas all of them are getting caught. And Huey gets caught as well by that girl in season 2 of The Boys, right? We thought that she was the head popper, but it turned out to be Victoria Newman. She's finally back, and they take in Huey, but Starlight is able to escape. And then we see Butcher, and Butcher has the virus with him, and he's seeing Joe Kessler in the back seat. And this reminds me a lot of that episode of The Walking Dead, right? Season 7, episode 1, Last Day on Earth, when Rick and Negan were in the RV, and Negan is looking through the rear view window. So yeah, I think that was a nod to The Walking Dead. But most likely in season 5, Joe Kessler is going to be a reoccurring character, and by the looks of it, it looks like that Butcher is going to be the main villain of season 5, right? He's going to go full-on villain mode in season 5 of The Boys, and that's just because of what he's shown and the parasite that he has, and on top of that, Joe Kessler influencing him. It is pretty safe to bet that Butcher is going to be the main villain, or one of the villains of season 5 of The Boys. And he's just in his car and he's driving off into the distance with the virus. So by the looks of it, he's going for Homelander. And yeah, then in the post-credit scene, right, in the final scene of this season, I would say that this is the best moment of this episode. Hell, it's probably the best moment of this whole season. And that's Homelander finds out that Soldier Boy is in a tube, right? He is not dead, and Calhoun shows Homelander Soldier Boy's body, and this is just an insane moment. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Soldier Boy in season 5, but by the looks of it, it's either Homelander tries to keep Soldier Boy locked up and one of the members of the Boys goes and frees Soldier Boy, maybe Starlight, right? Because Starlight is the only one that escaped. So it is very safe to bet that maybe Starlight frees Soldier Boy, or Homelander frees Soldier Boy himself, and he basically convinces Soldier Boy to join alliances with him, and that's going to be the whole basis of season 5. It's going to be Homelander and Soldier Boy versus Butcher. And now this is setting up a lot towards season 5, this whole episode alone, right? I mean, the rest of the episodes, yeah, you know, they were building up to some stuff, but this whole episode, it just seems like a full-on window to season 5, and it totally does feel like the beginning of the end. And now, like, I think that it's gonna start with Starlight trying to free the Boys from captivity, right? You know, they are taken in. And so Starlight's whole mission in season 5 is going to be freeing the Boys, and Butcher's whole mission is going to be killing Homelander, and I think he might kill every single soup. And now with Ryan being like basically a mini Homelander now, I think that Butcher might go after Ryan as well, and I think that Ryan is not safe from Butcher. So it's probably going to be Homelander, Soldier Boy, and Ryan versus Butcher. And now we don't know where Ryan is now after he left the bunker, right? We don't know if he's going to be doing everything solo now, if he's going to be with Homelander, if he's going to be against Homelander. But it is very obvious that Butcher is not going to be taking Ryan in. He's probably going to be hunting Ryan down, and he's going to kill him for killing Mallory. And also he's going to try killing him for Becca as well, because he did not get that out of his heart yet. He didn't get that out of his mind that Ryan killed Becca. And now with this new parasite, with this new symbiote in Butcher, and also with Joe Kessler influencing him, he's going to be taking full-on revenge on Ryan. And I don't think Ryan's going to die, right? I think that Ryan is going to be turning good in season 5, and I think maybe with Butcher being one of the villains of season 5, and I think he might even kill Homelander and Soldier Boy. We don't know the full extent of this power, but if he does end up killing Homelander and Soldier Boy, I think it's going to end off with Ryan killing Butcher, and it's going to be kind of like the comic ending, but except for Huey killing Butcher, it might be Ryan killing Butcher, and then Ryan turns fully good. Or if they want to, you know, end this whole thing off with a big bang, they might do a whole thing where the virus is airborne and every single soup dies and it's just humans from now. And I don't know, maybe that could be the case. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And I would like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.